Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Leafy Camo Podcast, where we fully cover all things Pokemon. Today, of course, I am joined by Dallas White and Bobby Lawler, as always. Dallas, you are up out of your normal area. How was your traveling? How have you been doing this week, my friend?
Oh, pretty good. I'm actually coming to you live from a basement in Philadelphia. Actually, West Philly. Yeah.
Awesome. Bobby, how has your week been, my friend?
It's pretty good. Just getting ready for Hartford.
Nice. So, yeah, of course, Hartford coming up this week. Definitely going to be one of our topics for today. We are going to be revisiting our tier list and tweaking it up a little bit and the like. And then, talking about maybe some Arceus variants. As we've seen, Arceus has definitely boosted up in viability and popularity. So we're going to have like a little bit of a discussion talking about which Arceus variant do we think has the most legs right now. And then, of course, we're going to have the everyone's favorite segment, Guess That Flavor Text. It is Bobby's turn this time to try to stump both me and Dallas. I am in the lead with one singular point from last week. I was able to stump them. And then, as usual, we will end our podcast for today by looking at the events that are happening other than Hartford in our home state of North Carolina, where none of us will be this weekend. So yeah. Anyway, did y'all do anything, play-wise this week before we get really into this, or anything that you would like to shout out from your past week?
Sadly, no, I haven't been doing much playing. I've just been, well, I haven't been doing any in-person playing. I've just been doing a lot of play testing on a TCG Live, just trying to get a couple kinks worked out and get my final 60 finalized for Hartford.
Bet. How about you, Bobby?
Not a lot of playing besides for Thursday. Other than that, I just been trying to figure out what build of Lost Box I want to play.
I feel that. So, this past weekend was actually a little bit, or this past little bit was actually kind of busy for me. I went up to Gamers Alley on this past weekend, and they had their VGC Premier Challenge. So I went up there, and that was I commentated that tournament, so that was pretty fun. My first chance, I guess, commentating official Pokemon or something like that. That was pretty cool. Of course, I'm more of a TCG player and judge and all that fun stuff. But yeah, and then last night I went up to another store, Mighty Meeple, up in Concord. And I was actually able to finally put together a deck that I've been messing around with for a little while. This super whack Lost Box deck that's inspired by Alex Szymanski's top 8 list with a Spectrier and a Crab in it. So I was finally able to put that together. Went up there, went undefeated. And the Crab put in work. I was happy. I put it on Twitter, and Alex Szymanski himself liked my tweet, so I'm happy with that. So yeah, and yeah, it was a pretty good little weekend for me. Happy to see that you guys are just getting a nice chance to relax and stuff before Hartford, though. So that's awesome. Bobby and Dallas both are going up as players. I'm going to be there as a judge. So if you see us, feel free, stop by, shout out, say hi to us. Dallas, I think you're getting that VIP treatment again.
Absolutely. I wouldn't play without it.
Bobby will be in the tables amongst the people, amongst the plebes.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I will be all over the place. I will basically be on my feet for 3 days straight.
Warning, lesson. Take snacks with you.
Yes. Yeah, don't go too drop because you were hungry.
Hey, there will be no lunch break. So.
That is true, yeah. So keep that in mind if you are going to Hartford. There is going to be a lunch break very similar to Charlotte. So, but yeah, anyway, so today we have some events that we want to look at. So we have the Indonesia champions and the Philippines champions, and then a special event in Bogota. So, of course, there's a lot of controversy around Bogota. There was a player caught very blatantly cheating and stacking both theirs and their opponent's deck. We're not really going to talk on that too much, but, good job to you, genius. Freaking going on stream and showing everybody how badly you can cheat. That's really all I have to say, but good lord, that's so stupid. Anyway, any thoughts, I guess, on that before we really get into it? Of course, you can go check out some of the other podcasts. I'm sure that they're covering it, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have any major thoughts on it. Just, I mean, it was a decent turnout, 76 players. Of course, we had a American, bring it home, so that felt good.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm sure that we can have like a little bit of a discussion once we get to actually the Bogota events. But yeah, so we only have top 8 from the Indonesia Championship League. This was our championship, excuse me. So of course they do things a little bit differently over there. They actually have like a very weird format right now. Over in Indonesia, they have battle styles through Scarlet Violet plus triple beat. So they're kind of Japanese format, but not really. It's super weird. But it was taken home by a Mew deck. So honestly, this is looking incredibly straightforward for Mew. You got a couple weird things like a Pokegear and a trekking shoes in there, but yeah, I don't know, Dallas. What do you think? Is this pretty much what we were expecting from Mew? I think, right?
I mean, it's pretty much a straightforward Mew. I mean, the Great Ball, I could do without it. Other than that, it's a pretty typical Mew deck that we see at every single tournament that we go to.
Yeah, Mew still holding it down. Still a very solid deck for sure. We have Lugia taking second place. Yeah, another second place for Lugia. This one's playing Radiant Gardevoir, which is kind of interesting. We're covering up 3V Guard and 3 Gift down here. So yeah, outside of the Gardevoir, I don't know. I don't play Lugia as much as like Dallas and some other people do, but I've really been liking this arena. I think that it patches up your Lost Zone matchup even better, and like you're already kind of favored into Lost Zone, so I don't know why you would want to, take that kind of thing away, but I mean, I guess it doesn't really help against pretty much anything else. So, Radiant Gardevoir definitely worth it, but what do you think? What do you think, Dallas? Is something to take notes from here? Is the Arven speaking to you?
Honestly, the Arven doesn't really do much for me. The choice belt is interesting, beneficial in a couple aspects. What I find to be the most precarious is that there's no Urshifu, there's no Duraludon that I'm seeing. It's just a straight up Lugia where they're relying on Yveltal and Stonejourner to do most of the hard hitting.
For sure. So yeah, nothing too crazy there. Maybe they just don't have a whole lot in their meta, but we do have a Lost Box. This is looking very similar to Grant's Lost Box that he took to a top 4 finish at Portland. So this is looking pretty cool. We're covering up 5 Water Energy, 3 Psychic, and 3 Lightning down here. But they also play a Path to the Peak. That I thought was kind of interesting to see. And then the Raihan and the usual Lost Box pieces. So what do you think about this, Bobby, as the Lost Box Kyogre connoisseur yourself?
Path to the Peak is weird. Everything else looks fine. And I'm like really confused on the path, but I can see somewhat why, but I would be taking for Pokestop.
Yeah,
I like Pokestop a lot with Kyogre.
Yeah, we had a little discussion on that. Like I was kind of a little on the fence about the Pokestop, but I think that you've talked me into it a little bit. Definitely helps you dig through that deck a lot faster, get those in-game boards set up for Kyogre, and get those items and stuff. So, but yeah, the path is super weird. I probably have to agree. Pokestop over that, but I guess it comes in handy. But so many decks that are impacted by path are going to have so many ways to get around it. I don't know.
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't know. So we have a Fusion Mew here in the top 4. Again, Crystal Cave Mew. I don't get it. I will never understand Crystal Cave and Mew. And, like, I like Fusion Mew. And you only see it in the Fusion Mew builds. I don't know what it is, but we do see 4 Turbo and 4 that, which is kind of interesting. Usually only... Oh, wait, never mind. It is 3. I'm stupid. I can't see. But, yeah, so 3 Elisa, which is a little high compared to what they've usually been running. Just the 2. Because that's usually what you can only get off. No Path in this, which is neat, but they do play the Pokestop. Yeah, just pure Fusion Mew. I gotta be honest, I'm not really loving it as much as I like the Fusion Mew. I think that it's just, I really liked my hybrid of the 2, and I thought that had a little bit of legs, but I think pure Fusion Mew just, it's not really cutting it these days. I don't know. Like, maybe you can get the Elisa Sparkle off and get your 210 plus on turn 1 and knock out something. But, I mean, you're throwing so many resources into that potentially happening. I don't know. I'd rather just path judge lock somebody throughout the whole freaking game. I don't know. I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on the Fusion Mew before we move on?
Nah, I'm just not a big
Not
fan.
really.
Nah, me neither. So we have another Lugia, which is looking very similar to something we've been liking seeing. We're just covering up 3 gift energy down here. And this one is indeed playing the Urshifu line without the Stonejourner. So this is a very aggressive Lugia. We see 3 Boss's Orders, which usually only see maybe a 1 or a 2 count with the 1 Serena, which is kind of nuts. Only 3 stadiums, which I think is actually kind of something that you're seeing in a lot more Lugias. They're going down to 3 stadiums plus the Pumpkaboo. I think that that's pretty cool. Yeah, so this is also looking very standard.
Well, and also in hindsight, I understand Radiant Gardevoir a little bit more now.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're looking at these deck lists, I'm not seeing a ton of Lost Fox, but we are seeing a lot of Mew, a lot of heavy V Pokemon attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So the Radiant Gardevoir does make sense in that aspect. However, from an American meta perspective, or a North American meta perspective, we run a lot more Lost Fox than we do.
Indeed.
So I think it's going to be kind of regionally dependent.
For sure. So yeah, definitely something. And then we have the Arctina running here. Very straightforward list. This looks incredibly close to what we saw at Portland. I haven't committed that list to memory, but it looks pretty dang close.
Yeah, it's almost identical.
So Arctina still putting in the work. Squoved still great. Yeah, just there's really not much to say about this list. But Bobby, you have any other ideas on how we could potentially improve Lostina going forward?
I don't know if we can improve it because I feel like it's a very tight list at times because you need all the consistency in the deck you can get.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel it's fine right now. I mean, I think it's perfectly fine, honestly.
Yes.
Right now.
So you would run with this list and take it from there. I think it's a super solid list. So yeah,
I would definitely just play it.
I mean, in hindsight, I see a couple of changes that I would love if we switch out the Arceus with Lugia, the Giratina with Arceus.
I mean, also, like if this is actually the reason why, like here in like the American continent for playing, even if you play the Radiant Guard, it helps you a lot against this deck and even the Arctura deck list.
Yeah, but like they're going to just path and shut that off anyway. So is it? I don't know, but we have a Gardevoir. We covered up a lot of things, but it's pretty standard Gardevoir stuff. They're still running the 12 energy. Makes me very happy. Now that I've been running 12 energy for damn near a month at this point, since EUIC. I would never go under 12. It's just so nice to be able to get to that 9, get to that 10. a lot faster and a lot more consistently. Because like with 11, if you have 2 energy prized ever, like you're kind of screwed in certain matchups, especially Gudra, because you can never get to 10 until you start taking prizes, and you're usually slower than them. I still don't love the one of Shining Arcana. But they did make the one change that I really like, adding in a second gust. I like a second boss's orders, but Serena is perfectly fine as well. The penny is something that I'm still on the fence about, but it is still an excellent card in the deck, so I can't really hate on that. And they're playing the Mirage Step. Let's go. I still love this card. I still love the Mirage Step. But so I know I am the major Gardevoir simp of the group. But do you guys have any other thoughts on this?
I just don't like having one. I don't like having one single baby Guardy. It kind of
and nor Clara
kind of muddies up the prize race a little bit. Like, it would make sense if you're running a Clara, but the fact that you're not.
Yeah, that Miriam is doing some heavy lifting, because like this is such a good card into so many matchups. Like being able to just swing 240 with a 1 prizer, it just trades up so well. Up to 270 potentially too with the turn attachment. So, but I don't know. Yeah, some people cutting it to 1. I don't see how they do it, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, so that is a fairly standard Guardy. And then last but not least, for finishing at the top 8, we have Lost Tina running the Tropius. Which one of you was hyping up? Was it? I think it was you, Bobby. Yeah, you were talking about the Tropius. So this is a 110 HP basic Pokemon. One retreat. That's actually pretty good for Lost Box. I just noticed that. It's a Tropius because I figured he was kind of a big boy, but he has the Rally Back attack for a Grass and Colorless. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon last turn, they do 90 more damage. So it does 120 damage for 2 energy. Excellent into grass-weak Pokemon like Tyranitar, for example. Yeah. So you're able to just easily mop up a Tyranitar, trade up really nicely. Definitely helps patch up that matchup a little bit, and then that's just really nice. So this is actually, I think, the only deck that was actually running a triple beat card with the 2 copies of Jet Energy. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, so there is a couple triple beat cards, but I'm sure if we saw like the full breakdown, we see a little bit more. But so this is looking like very standard Lost Tina, like the 3/3 Tina line. I don't know about that. Like usually you'll see like 2/3 if anything, just because you don't want to start with the Tina too often, and they'll cheat that space potentially. But like I don't know, I've never really loved Lost Tina, but Bobby, your thoughts on this?
I personally didn't like, same as you, like the 3/3, but I always went to 2/3 with a Thornton.
Yeah.
See, I always did it that way because that's what I felt more comfortable and I actually had more confidence in. Like, even if it was a bad matchup, you're like, oh, this is horrible. Let's just do this. I got to do it this way. Discard it with something, quick ball at the time. Then Thornton it out, go for the game that way.
For sure. So yeah, very cool. Very cool indeed. So the Philippines Championships, we have a splattering of lists, but we see a lot of Mew. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 Mews in the top cut here, which is very nice to see. I am still a little bit of a Mew believer. I know Dallas has forsaken us, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, we do see a couple Lost Box in there as well. One getting second place, so that's pretty cool. And then We got one Lugia, one Magnezone Dialga, or two Lugia, excuse me, a Gardevoir, and a Regidrago. So I guess we'll just take a quick look at the winning Mew list. They are incorporating the Cleansing Gloves, which is a card that I've been touting I really like. The Fan of Waves, which is really nice. The Avery, which is cool. And then other than that, very just standard Path Mew, Judge, shenanigans. Really nothing crazy here. If anything, I think that you could probably just take this list, run with it at your locals, and probably guarantee yourself a top cut, if I would have to say, this weekend. I don't know. But we got a third place Mew. This one is a little bit tighter, I guess you could say. They're still running the Oricorio. They got the Cleansing Gloves. Looks like they do not have the Fan of Waves or anything like that. Still no Lost City. I will forever say I love my Lost City and Mew, but yeah, Absolutely. It is what it is. We got another Lugia here. This one is playing the Serena. So this is looking like a more standard Lugia. And as we're going through these deck lists, like, we're seeing a lot of the same kind of things. If we notice something like kind of neat, we will point it out and stuff like that. But, we are kind of getting into I wouldn't necessarily say a solved meta, but, a meta that there really isn't going to be as many surprises. Saying that, though, we are seeing a Sablezard with, like, the Pidgeot and the Miltank package and stuff like that. So, yeah, this was... who ran this at EUIC? I forget. Was this Pedro?
Pedro.
Yeah, this was Pedro's list. Something very similar to Pedro's list. So this is pretty neat. Nothing too crazy going on here. Seen a little bit of success. I personally don't like this route for Sablezard, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like the whole Miltank and the Pidgeot line and stuff like that?
I think it's just the main one of text that it feels a little cloudy.
Yeah, and like that's what I like about Sablezard is it always seemed to me like a more direct deck, Yeah. So like clunking it up with some of these stuff, and like there is purposes to all of these cards. Like I get that, but I don't know. I feel like it's a little too much. I don't know. Just I feel like these are cards that the deck doesn't necessarily need. They're just there to mess around and help, but I don't know. Yeah, Bobby, any thoughts on this before we head on?
I feel like this is like the control, like more controlling aspect of it. Like the Pidgeot, just make sure you don't deck out, because you can deck out in this version of the deck pretty relatively easily. Drapion I feel is fine.
The Drapion's fine.
The Miltank, I think I know what it's only there for, is probably Artina or anything like Goodra. So.
I feel like there's no way you're getting through 3 games in 50 minutes with this deck at all.
It depends on the matchup.
Yeah, it depends, because like you can definitely just get up to 10 really fast. Because you do still have some of the turbo pieces. You got the Force Seal, you got the vacuum, the highish vacuum counts and stuff. So you can definitely get up to the 10 probably on turn 2, occasionally turn 3 very consistently. So I don't know. We got another Gardevoir. We do see that they are running the 2 Arcana. However, they still do not have a Clara, but 2 Collapsed. I don't know what I think about that, because I don't know, because I have been playing with 1 Collapsed, 1 Sinnoh for a very long time, and the Sinnoh has only really mattered, I think, like twice, because they're always just able to bump it if it's Mew with a path, and then I have to deal with that. Or they're Lugia, and they can get their Pumpkaboo or bump it with something else. And those are really the only 2 matchups that it really matters for. I guess Arceus is kind of the same way. So maybe I do kind of like the 2 collapse, because you can pull off some super cool plays with Collapse Stadium. Not only is it like a good disruption card, but like if you load up like a big Gardevoir and then they boss around it and then put up something that you can't kill with Gardevoir, then you can just fill up that bench space, throw down Collapsed, chuck that Gardevoir, and now all that energy is able to be reallocated to like a Zacian or something like that, and you're able to swing for that big stuff. So maybe I actually will take a note from this and try double Collapsed, because like I said, I guess I'm just really not feeling the Sinnoh, because it's just not mattering a lot. But yeah.
The issue is going against the Lugia matchup. Collapse benefits us more than it hurts us, because it allows us to get the giant liability off the bench of Lumineon.
That is true. But I think that that's a necessary evil in a sense, because like you're usually only using Collapsed to bump a path, which Lugia doesn't usually play, I'll say that. Nah. Or you're doing that kind of play that I'm talking about, discarding to reallocate your energies. So you can just hold your Collapsed until you can potentially like boss up the Lumineon or something like that, and then play Collapsed on the same turn. So you're taking those 2 prizes and you're forcing the Lugia player to discard something that they don't necessarily want to discard, Right. So I think that that's probably fine for that matchup. The only other card that I would obviously say maybe as a secondary stadium is Champions Festival, but I can't get that, so because Pokemon hates me. So
do you want one?
Did you actually get one? Did you track one down?
I got my hands on one.
Oh, let's go! I'm dead serious, Dallas. I will come out of retirement if you let me play optimal Gardevoir in a cup. I will do it. I promise.
I'll let you borrow one.
Hell yeah! All right, so we have the Dialga deck. This is pretty cool. So yeah, we have the Dialga deck. This saw a little bit of success, I guess you can say, in what tournament was this? This was like, it's like a Singapore special event or something like that. I don't remember. Bobby, do you remember where this thing came up?
I think it was. I don't remember.
But yeah, so this thing kind of started popping up. Pretty much, obviously, the idea is you load up get Giga Magnet, Magnezone on the field. You look at the top 6 cards of your deck, attach as many metal energy as you see there to your Pokemon, and then you get to Bangkok. Okay, I knew something like that over there. But yeah, and then it was you power up Star Chronos, do 220 if you take a knockout. Actually, no, you just straight up just take another turn. I thought it was contingent on knockout, but actually I was wrong. So yeah, you just take another turn. So, you're able to, just have these really big swing turns, but the deck is like super whack. It plays 22 energy. So, it is what it is. I don't know. Bobby, I know that you kind of like these weird decks.
I do.
What do you think about this thing getting another top 16?
I love it. Drew. Shout out to Drew for turning me on to this stuff. Because I used to say this stuff is horrible. It sucks. Man, half of these rogue decks are probably the most fun and sickest ideas ever in Pokemon. Where you can just brew something. Let's play this. All right, cool. I'm going to take almost 6 prize cards off of you in 2 turns and win the game. That's one example. But I really like it. I love it.
I'm absolutely getting Kieran vibes from this, though.
Yeah. That's another deck that I also really like. I don't know. Maybe it's just Kyurem, but I like that one a little bit more. We have another Mew here. Very super straightforward Mew. We got the gloves, we got the echoing horn. Yeah, this is all looking very samey as usual, but we do have a Regidrago, which
Yes.
is super cool. I am actually looking very forward to this archetype because in the next set we get a couple buffs to it. So that's cool. They are incorporating a cleansing gloves, which is pretty cool. Very nice. Same thing as kind of like the Arctina decks are doing, incorporating cleansing gloves, be able to hit the 310 on things like Mew and Gardevoir EX and the like. So yeah, this is super freaking cool. We have the baby Dragonite. This is kind of neat. So this is an attacker. Does 180 for water, lightning, and double colorless, and then. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because Regidrago. Whatever, never mind. 180, and then you accelerate 3 energy out of the deck. Pretty cool.
And then also you can't forget about the Duraludon.
And yep, there is the Duraludon 220, and it swings through. Do they play away? Okay, so some of these weird Regidrago decks, I've been seeing them kind of like incorporating mustard, like a single strike mustard. If they can try to find a way to get down to it so they can get the Duraludon in play and just sit there. But I don't know. That seems kind of like a little much to me personally.
A little techy.
Yeah, it seems a little much to me. So, but yeah, so very cool. Regidrago, very nice to see it getting a little bit of a spotlight there. And then last deck list we have for this is another Arctina. Nothing crazy, nothing new. They play a Sharon's Care, which is an amazing card. So yeah, there's that, and it's Arctina. Yeah,
very cookie cutter Arctina.
Yeah, which is good.
It is.
Good. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Very good deck indeed. So, all right. Last but not least, we have the Bogota special event, which was won by Andrew Hedrick. So we did allude to it a little bit at the start, but this was the player that made it to finals got caught basically red-handed cheating. So Andrew, he's an excellent player. I'm very glad that he was able to get this win, but I know he probably feels a little bit like he didn't earn it. You still earned it, man. All power to you. You earned this one for sure. Don't feel bad. But so it is another Lost Box, deck. Very kind of samey. Turbo Lost Box. It is playing one Sky Seal and one Forest Seal though, so that's pretty cool. I actually really like that. Splitting the difference and saying, hey, maybe I don't need the Sky Seal Forest Seal this game. I can Sky Seal for 4 prizes on a Mew or something like that. So, but yeah, I think that this is like an incredibly good list that anybody could kind of just take and just run with. It's a very good turbo list. But Bobby, what do you think? Is this kind of like the go-to turbo list?
I feel the turbo list is always good too, if you're not really sure. The only card I'm not a big fan of is Halucha, but I can see why he plays it.
Yeah, he does play like
numbers.
The double Sableye, which is good. Which is not something weird, but I don't know. I've been seeing some people cutting down to 1. I experimented with cutting down to 1 Sableye for a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, it's a cool, very cool, straightforward deck. So, Jonathan Torres made top 2 with Lost Zone Giratina. Wow, words are hard. With some temples instead of the traditional beach courts. So that's kind of interesting. And only 1 Clara. But then again, I guess that makes sense because you're not really needing to recycle stuff as much because you have the Tinas swinging for big damage and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so very interesting. 12 energy though, which I think is a little nutty. Like usually, that's a little high than I usually see in Lost Zone. So I don't know, Dallas. You have any thoughts on Lost Tina here?
I don't know how I feel about the 12 energy. Everything else is fairly cookie cutter. I would maybe cut an energy, add a second Clara. Temple's not bad. Beach Court's still pretty significant for any Lost Box deck, though.
Yeah, for sure. So, yep, very kind of straightforward kind of look there. We have another Lugia. This one's looking very straightforward. They play five path outs, which is pretty cool. 2 Mesagoza, 2 Collapsed, and the Pumpkin. So that's a little wild. What are they cutting for that, Dallas? What are they cutting for that? I can't. They don't have a penny. They don't have a penny.
Yeah, so they don't have a penny. They're still
running
no
Roxanne, but you don't have to have Roxanne.
So essentially, they're cutting into their supporter line to make it feasible.
I suppose.
I don't love it, but I don't think that you need 5 path outs unless Path and Temple just scare you that much.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, 4 is reasonable, having like 2 Messagosa, 1 Collapse, and a Pumpkaboo.
Yeah.
Perfect. You have 4 outs.
Exactly. So, and like once you get your summoning star going, like it's not like you need a path bump every single game. Pretty much. Yeah. Like maybe you want
once you get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe you want to bump it so you can go get a fish for a boss or something to end the game. But yeah, so we have another Mew here. They're running the Arven, which is a card that I don't necessarily hate because they are running a lot of tools. They're running 5 tools in this Mew, which is pretty.
I mean, Arven and Mew, contrary to popular opinion, makes sense. Grab a Cram and a Forest Seal Stone, or grab a Power Tablet and a Forest Seal, or a Power Tablet and a Choice Belt if you need to hit your big numbers. So I get it.
I'm about 50-50 on the Arven. Like, I could probably look at it as maybe a 61st card at times. It depends on what I'm really trying to do with the deck, but I don't know. What do you think, Bobby? Thoughts on the Arven and Mew?
I love it, and especially if you're playing a high tool count, I think it's correct.
Yeah, I think with 5 right here is pretty cool because you definitely want to drag out those cleansing gloves at very specific times, and especially because you're a lot of the times you're using the cleansing gloves for those psychic leap plays, so you're shuffling it back into the deck. So an Arven can help you definitely get to that loop back going. So we have another Lugia. This one still has the Stonejourner. They actually have 1 copy of Impact Energy, which I think is kind of interesting, which makes actually a lot of sense with all of the single strike Pokemon. Yeah, and it's just 1 more energy. Like they have what was this 15, 14, 15? 15 energy? I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 14 actually.
14. So, which is good. It's what I run. I run 14 energy, I think.
Yeah, same here.
I don't know. But yeah, only 1 T-Tar though. I don't know. I think T-Tar is so good.
But he plays the Thornton, that's why.
That is true.
That's why.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the Thornton actually helps with that because, obviously you could turn a fish that's been sitting on your bench into an Urshifu, and then you can get your VMAX out of nowhere, or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool. I like it. Neat innovations. I probably wouldn't necessarily run it, and then Arc Gudra. So I saw this and it reminded me that people apparently still play this deck. I thought that Arc Gudra fell by the wayside, but it's there, I guess.
Once in a while.
See, so we're covering up a lot of stuff on the bottom here, but it is playing water energy for the Gudra, obviously, but it's taking a couple 2 lightning energy for this Dragonite. I don't know how I feel about the Dragonite, because.
But can we go back to the stadium count?
Yeah. So we have 2 Crystal Cave and 1 Path to the Peak for the stadium count.
Yeah.
So, I think it kind of makes sense. Crystal Cave is good, with Gudra, obviously. And then they also play the Radiant Serena, so you're effectively healing 50 every single turn. I'm not doing the math right now, but I feel like, reducing AD, healing 50 every single turn, that's going to push you out of the range of a lot of things. But you do still have, like, Duraludon running around in Arceus decks and Lugia decks some, and then, like, Urshifu and Lugia decks. So, like, Gudra is just going to get punched through anyway, and you are this is the reason that I've never liked Arceus Gudra too much, because unlike Arctina, where you don't necessarily need to use or can even use your V-Star power on Tina, you want to use your V-Star power on Gudra. But most of the times you're needing to use Starburst to get into the game. So, yeah. I don't know. That's always been my kind of thing with Arc-Goo. Because most of the time if you're playing Arceus, you're Starbursting on turn 2 for like a DTE and a switch, or, something and a switch, or blah, 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 blah. So you don't often get to even use Moisture Star. So, like, I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, I don't know. You guys, thoughts on the apparently not extinct Arceus Gudra?
There's just so many better variants of Arceus that it's really unnecessary to play Arc-Goo.
For sure. So
I think I would play Lost Box Goo, but I wouldn't play Arc-Goo.
Yeah. So Bobby, what do you think?
It's cool, but nah. I'd rather play Duraludon if I want to stall. Or not stall. Yeah, sort of stall.
It's pretty much like stall, yeah. It's kind of stall, not really. And then we have another Lost Box variant. This is just another Turbo / Kyogre. Very cool. Very standard. It's basically Szymanski's list, but he has the VIP passes in it. Which I don't know. Like, I gotta say, I haven't been feeling like I need the VIP passes, but I do want to try them in it, and lowering my fog crystal counts, because sometimes that the fog crystal just not getting me what I need. So
I play my version. I play 2 fog crystals and 1 level ball.
Yeah, I never liked the level ball. I don't know.
Well, the issue that we face is that VIP pass, it's a staple. It's used in so many decks. The issue with that is it's only good on your first turn. A game is more than 1 turn, and if you don't hit any of them in opening turn, sucks to suck.
Oh
yeah, but the thing is, like, it's such high value on turn 1. It is, the value makes it worth it, and especially if you're playing Forest Seal, like, you might as well, also only 1 vacuum. Yeah, I also don't.
But it
like
doesn't hurt if you're running 2 forest, so I get it. But I think Alex is onto something though.
I don't know. Like, I've been messing with it. I'm gonna have to keep messing with it.
See, that wasn't Alex who started that stuff.
That was Nicholas Moffat. That actually kind of really started that trend, but Alex kind of ran with it. Eric Hernandez getting another top 8 with Gardevoir. This one playing a Forest Steel Stone instead of a Sky Seal Stone. That's super interesting. 2 Sinnoh, 1 Collapsed, so 3 Stadium outs right there. That's kind of neat. 4 with the Worker, actually. So, yeah, and my boy Mirage Gate, and 2 Shining Arcana. So, very low on the supporter count, though. I guess they have an Avery. I don't know. I feel like they really want the research. And no Clara. Dude, am I like the only Gardevoir player that still plays freaking Clara?
I love Clara.
I love that card in that deck. It's so good. I don't know, man. I guess I'm the only freaking Gardevoir player that plays freaking Clara anymore. I don't know. Whatever. Man, what do y'all got any thoughts on this? I mean, I know I'm more the Gardevoir player, but Yeah.
I think it's an experiment.
That's a word for it.
It's not a great experiment, but there's so many better proven decks that, I mean, given they haven't had the huge success on American soil, but I don't know how I feel about it. It's not a huge it's not a win for me.
Yeah, I feel that for sure.
I'm not crazy about guard.
Yeah.
I have it just in case, but
all right.
I basically have it built just to test against, but I'm not going to run it from an efficiency standpoint.
Yeah. So before we get really going, I do think that it is kind of worth mentioning something, because we do see 3 American players in this special event at Bogota. Bogota is a Latin American special event. So there's always this big thing that comes up on Twitter, and people saying like, wow, all these American players going and stealing points from special events in Latin America and stuff like that. The thing is, really? Like,
so
stop.
There was an interesting tweet.
Okay.
There was an interesting tweet by a South American player.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we actually got a South American side? Okay, good. Yeah.
Okay, so there was a tweet by a South American player that plainly stated, the only people who complain about this are American players.
Yeah.
I've never seen a South American player complain about it, because it's a huge deal for them to have some of the world's best players come and compete in their event. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. It's a huge sign of respect. And honestly, a lot of those South American players are no slouches at all.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's some fantastic guys there. No. I mean, and it gives you the chance to play against some of the best of the best. I mean, it's a giant sign of respect. The only people who I ever see complaining are American players.
Yep. So I don't know.
Take that with a grain of salt.
I feel like I can't really speak to too much, because I don't know why they get special events and not regionals. Maybe it's like a funding thing or something like that. But like, come on.
It falls mostly into logistics.
Yeah, it's just like a logistics or a funding thing or something like that. But like, is it a little pay to win to compete for that top 16 spot and stuff like that? A little bit, yeah. But if you are not willing to pay for that top 16 spot, because that's a lot. You have to hit every regional. You have to hit every IC. Like, this is just another regional on the list. Like, I only ever see this from LATAM players. If there was a special event in Europe or something, or if they started special events in Australia or something like that, well, maybe you might see some pushback from Australia because they don't get a lot down there. But still, would anybody say a damn thing if an American player went to a special event in freaking Germany or something like that? No. And like,
I mean, technically the same argument could be made for EUICs. I mean, it doesn't matter how large the event is. They go, oh, we have Americans coming to EUICs. We have Americans coming to OCIC. It doesn't matter. The best players travel to events. Oh, and the best players that have the means will travel to those events.
Oh, God, yeah.
So Pokemon is super accessible. Like, there was something on Twitter earlier about basically the top 10 TCGs and how much it costs to build a competitive deck. Mm-hmm. Pokemon was the cheapest.
By a long shot, I bet.
By a long shot.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And I spent hundreds of dollars on a deck. My most expensive deck was around $600. Mm-hmm. And that was just for top-tier competitive deck. Back in like a format, in a top-tier Yu-Gi-Oh! Event, when it was a tier 0, your deck is costing thousands.
Yeah, Pokemon,
the only
$50 for a lost box deck.
Exactly. Like, the only time that you're spending that much money on a Pokemon deck is if you're Dallas or Chris and you want to max rarity everything.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Pokemon, I paid $50-$60 for my lost box deck, and I'm like, cool, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I think that this whole thing is just people that are salty that they aren't good enough to get to everything and win, get to those placements. Like, get over it. Like, if you're earning your invite, that should be good enough for you. Because a lot of people are fighting for their invite, and they can't even get their invite. And I keep hitting my water bottle. But, yeah, so...
I mean...
Yeah.
And also looking at it, like, in past events, I mean, like, so prior to COVID, of course, you didn't have... so technically, you didn't have to attend a single regional, and you can still earn a world invite.
Mm-hmm.
Just, just from your best finish limits for cups and challenges. And with next year, it's the same route. You don't have to go to regionals. You don't have to go to special events. If you earn your invite, congratulations.
For sure.
And the points are easier to get now because you only need 350.
So,
yeah. For
before you needed 500.
Yeah. I think that there is some merit to maybe a special event that has 670 something people shouldn't be on the same level of a 1,000-person tournament. Yeah, but it's the system we have. Everybody has the same opportunity. Get over it. Play better.
I feel so.
Or just work if you can't, because I mean the people that can't make it down to a special event in Cancun or this one in Bogota, they don't even have the money to go to every regional. So what's the difference? I mean, if you're on the West Coast, you can't make it to every regional on the East Coast. This is the same exact thing. Like, get over it. So,
well,
I feel same way.
That's the funny thing is, like, it's cheaper to go to Colombia for a special event as an American player than it would be to go to Australia for OCIC.
Yeah,
there's no difference there.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Anyway, now that we've said our piece on that, let us know down in the comments. Give us your opinions on that. If they are anything other than it doesn't matter, then you're wrong. I'm sorry. Get over it. So, yeah. But it is time for everyone's favorite segment. Guess that flavor text. Bobby, it is your turn. Hit us with it, my friend.
Bird Pokemon make up most of its diet. It approaches at high speeds and smacks them down to the ground with its high, powerful kick.
Bird Pokemon make up its diet. It approaches at high speeds and hits it with a powerful kick. Something to that effect, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting a fighting Pokemon vibe here.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of feeling too. Do you want the stage, Dallas? What do you think? Should we go for the stage?
I was thinking either stage or set.
Yeah,
let's go stage.
Let's go stage.
Stage 2.
Ooh, a stage 2.
Ooh.
Interesting. Stage 2.
That didn't really make it too much easier.
Yeah, that really didn't. Yeah, I had a good guess if it was basic, but stage 2 that kind of messes it up. So, do you want to get the set, Dallas?
Can you read us that description one more time?
Yes. Yeah. Give us a read through.
Bird Pokemon make up most of its diet. It approaches at high speeds and smacks them down to the ground with its powerful kick.
Stage 2. Should we just get the set? Let's get the set.
Yeah,
Evolving Skies.
Evolving Skies. Oh, I didn't open a lot of Evolving Skies. Shit. Oh, I don't even know what's in that set. Crap.
I'm thinking. Oh. I think I know it.
Okay.
I opened a full case of Evolving Skies chasing Umbreons. I'm thinking Talonflame.
Yeah, but it chases it. What?
Yeah,
Dallas got it.
It was actually Talonflame?
It was actually
Yeah.
Hey, okay. I wouldn't have never okay, good shit, Dallas. Let's go.
Points.
You got us 2 points there, bro. Let's go. So, I would have never guessed that because it said chase down, so it was like it's something that has to like jump up in the air or something like that. Okay, hell yeah, there we go.
That was nerve-wracking.
Let's go.
I'm like, wait, I think that's Talonflame, but I couldn't remember if it was a stage 1 or a stage 2. So I was racking my brain.
I don't know, maybe it was just the wording for me. I was like, chases down. So like to me, that's like, it's like a mammal or something like that has to chase it down and like jump and kick it or something. I don't know, but yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, a bird chasing down another bird.
Yeah, well, and that's my thing. And I'm like, wait, what carnivorous bird stage 2 do we have? And then whenever he said evolving skies, I'm like, oh, I got this.
Hey, let's go. So here we go. So
I used to be a collector sometimes.
Hey, let's go. It pays off. So I'm still leading. Shout outs to Dallas giving me a nice 2-point bump there. And yeah, so that's really nice. And then Bobby's still sitting at the 0, but I have faith in Bobby. He's gonna bring it back. He's gonna bring it back. Dallas is gonna pull out some whack stuff, but I'm gonna just somehow know it.
I'm gonna break out some vintage for next week.
Oh my god,
throwing that out there.
All right.
Jeez.
All
the most
right.
vague vintage we can think of.
I hear that. So, all right. So, my friends, we are going to revisit the tier list, but today we're going to mostly focus on Arceus variants for today. So, we did, of course, see Arceus Giratina. See a win and a lot of success recently. So Arceus Giratina, are we feeling that is the best deck? So I'm gonna move I'm gonna make another tier above for Arceus, and then we'll do that because we're gonna have like a little Arceus discussion for right now, and then maybe we'll tweak the rest and stuff like that. There's a couple more down here. We got like Arceus Coco, I guess, Arceus Dura Vulpix, and Arceus Lost Zone. Who is running Arceus Lost Zone that has warranted it to be on this list? Who are you? Tell me. So like Arceus bad. Dragon. So okay, so Arceus Giratina. What do we think? Like, is this an S tier contender, guys? Like, it has won Portland. It won Singapore. It has made various top 8s over these past few weeks and is just doing incredibly well. Like, are we feeling that Arceus Giratina is a top tier contender, or is it still needing a little bit of something for that last little push?
I feel like this deck, like in order for a deck to be S tier, in my opinion, other decks, like you have to add a tech to your deck to plan against it. With that being said, Stonejourner may be making a comeback in Lugia's because of the success of Arceus as of late.
Or at least Thornton to like get out the Urshi.
Yeah, or Thornton to get out Urshi. But I mean, you have to give respect for where it's sitting currently. It's a proven successful deck. It's making a strong resurgence. To call it S tier may be premature, or to call it BDIF is way too premature.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would never. Yeah. Probably I don't think we have a BDIF right now.
No, honestly, because it's so diverse and so new that it's impossible to call anything BDIF.
Yeah, so
I would argue it's a mid tier 1.
It's a mid tier 1.
I wouldn't put it ahead of Lugia. I wouldn't put it ahead of Mew.
Okay. So we're thinking like maybe above Goodra and some of the other Lost Zone variants right now. So,
I put it above Goodra.
Yeah, okay. So,
But,
we still think that Mew is better than it right now?
well, actually, I would make another change if the panel will accept this.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah.
Given the recent high-performing finishes. Oh, never mind. It's already in S tier. We're good. Sorry, I just saw that you had 2 Lugias. You had one in S tier, one in tier 1.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Duraludon.
I would like to make a
antiquated.
change. I would like to make a change, though, if the panel will accept it. I would like
Darkrai.
well, Darkrai is already in the dumpster. We have made that change. I would like a tier 1.5.
Tier 1.5, I approve.
I would like a tier 1.5 because I feel like some of these decks deserve a little bit of separation for being a little bit. So I would put Miraidon there. We can revisit some Lost Zone stuff and at a later date. But this is how I would do it. I would put Lost Zone Goodra as probably the best Lost Zone variants, but that might be just me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would we drop Lost Zone Goodra to 1.5, or does another one of these Lost Zone variants deserve it? Real quick, before we go back into our discussions about your Arceus decks.
I think
Goodra goes down to 1.5.
Really?
Okay.
I mean, maybe like bottom of 1, like 1.25.
1.25.
Only reason why I say 1.5 is because you got Lugia is playing Urshifu, and you have Duraludon decks.
Okay. So I think that segues kind of nicely into Arcdura then, and we can include like the Arcdura Vulpix kind of stuff in this as well. So are we feeling that Arcdura and Arcdura Vulpix are kind of sitting around
Don't
the same
forget to
tier 1 as well?
Umbreon.
Umbreon.
I mean, I feel so
Arcdura
too.
Vulpix, Arcdura, Umbreon, stuff like that. You know, Arcdura plus another thing. So this is what Arcdura is going to represent.
I feel like they're contenders. They're very good tier 1 decks.
I definitely think so as well. I really liked the inclusion of the Umbreon. I think that is a very cool inclusion. For
also
sure.
do I.
I'm a big fan of adding Moonbreon. I think it's going to be a very nice addition to my deck.
So I think that to me, Arctina and Arcdura stand above, head and shoulders above the rest of the Arceus variants. We're gonna just take Arcdura Vulpix off of this because we're kind of lumping all the Arcdura variants kind of together. I don't feel like it needs to be separated. I would like to make a change though. I personally think Arctina is better than Mew right now. I know.
I mean, but
I'm
also,
speaking heresy.
Also, I think Lugia Dura should theoretically go in the Y department, as in why run that whenever there's a more efficient build of Lugia?
I suppose.
In my opinion, I feel the Urshifu is the most efficient way to play Lugia.
I suppose.
And if someone wants to play Duraludon, play Arcdura.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But just opinions.
But yeah. I think that Arceus Tina is above Mew. I think it has kind of proven itself to be, in a way, at least equal to Mew as a Path Judge deck.
Yeah, it just turns into a path race, though.
Yeah.
Between those two decks.
But the thing is, with Arctina, it can sit under Path. It doesn't have to constantly remove its own path and reset it and do all these other shenanigans. So I think that Arctina, once it gets going, is actually a little bit more straightforward than Mew, you know?
And Skwovet.
Skwovet, yeah, that's true. We do also have the voice Skwovet. So yeah, we can definitely maybe revisit Lugia Dura some other day. We'll we'll deal with that another day.
Yeah, and
but
I'm cool with that how it sits now.
So yeah, so this is how I would reorder the tier 1. We have Arceus Gudra. I think that this pretty solidly goes in the Y. Like we already talked about it because we did see somebody do well with it. They got a top 8 with it, or was it a top 16? I don't remember, but somebody did well with it. But like we kind of had that little discussion. It was like, why would you play this when like Lost Zone Gudra exists and Arctina exists? You know, I don't know. Arceus, flying Pikachu,
straight to hell.
Oh, jeez. So I will actually say I think that Arceus flying Pikachu still has a little bit of legs, because you are matching up fairly well into most of the top tiers. You got Lugia, you do decently well against Gardevoir, as long as you can get up and going, because then they can't respond on you with Zacian, which is like their way to one-hit KO things. And then some of them are even playing the Vulpix. That is super annoying for them. You're very good into Lost Zone variant. So while it may be a little bit, boxy, weird, I think that Arc Pika deserves a little bit of respect, and I would probably put it... I probably wouldn't put it over Guardy Mewtwo, but it's right in that area, you know.
Yeah, tier 2.
Yeah. So, our pure Vulpix, I don't know who's playing this. Whatever. We're just gonna call it this. Arceus Coco. I actually did see this having some success on one of the online tournaments, which was pretty cool.
Tapu Koko? Yeah.
Yes, it's the Tapu Koko VMAX that like auto paralyzes if like you're behind on prizes or something like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The problem that I have with it is like you have fighting attackers running around. Especially like in Lugia, you have your Urshifu, which can just nuke it off the board and just wipe the whole thing. Arceus in general has a big target on its back. So, like, you're going to be seeing a couple fighting type attackers sneak their way in, potentially like Lost Zone decks and stuff like that. It doesn't like Gardevoir. Gardevoir just power it up and plow right through it, as long as it can bump the path. And it doesn't have the protection like Pika has, you know. This to me falls in like a heavy Y. Play it, but it's kind of neat, so I have a little bit more respect for it. And Tapu Koko is a cool Pokemon, so I'll put it next to Shadow Rider.
Tapu Koko is pretty cool.
So yeah, Lost Zone Arceus. Who the hell is playing Lost Zone Arceus?
The same people who are playing Lost Zone Mew. Like, no, just trash.
I'm gonna put this even in the dumpster. This belongs to freaking Dark.
That's probably the best thing
probably
to do.
not in the dumpster, but like, what the hell?
It's pretty trash.
Like, why? Why would you do this? Like, I don't know. All right, so we got Arceus, Regidrago. I actually really like this deck. I think it's super fun. We did see a pure Regidrago running it. I don't think it deserves a Y because it still kind of functions and it does serve its purpose. And we are kind of running, a little bit ahead. We are going to be looking into the future a little bit, and it's going to get a few tools. I think it deserves a rogue status. I would put it above like the Dialga Magnezone thing. So yeah, I don't know.
I will say I do see that deck being promoted to a higher tier in the future.
Potentially, yeah, for sure. So yeah, I would definitely say that Arceus Giratina, by far, the best Arceus variant. I did run a little poll on Twitter. It's still going. Only four votes. Yo, give me loves. But yeah, so it does seem like people are kind of feeling the same way. Arctina is definitely up there. But yeah, so before we get going to start wrapping things up, is there anything major and egregious that we need to adjust on this? I know that some of you guys were looking at that S tier, wanting to make some change.
I think Lugia has to go over Guardy. Just looking at previous events, not a single Guardian top 8. Lugia has proven it belongs there.
That is fair. Are we feeling that Gardevoir's on the chopping block as an S tier?
I don't feel Guardy or Lugia need to be an S tier.
Well, I think you're outnumbered on the Lugia thing. I still think that Lugia is an excellent deck. I think it's a super good S tier deck.
Right.
But
I don't think it's S tier.
Okay.
That
fine.
consistency makes it matter.
But it's not inconsistent. Did we even had this argument like before? Like,
yeah, because so what makes it to me S tier is based on consistency and how well it performs when you can get your stuff out no problem.
Yeah. And in best of 3, it's usually not a problem.
Yeah.
Best of 1 is a problem.
It's still inconsistent. It's still
inconsistent. Really not. It's really not.
Yeah, it is.
Like
it is.
Lugia's inconsistent is like one of the biggest myths in Pokemon right now. I'm sorry.
I don't think it's a myth. I don't think it's a myth.
I don't know.
I
think that a lot of people
that it's made runner-up in back-to-back big tournaments.
That is true.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, they can still make runner-up back-to-back. It's best of 3.
Yeah, that's the point. That's what we're talking about, though, Bobby.
No, but I still say it's inconsistent. It's still inconsistent.
I don't know.
15 rounds.
I don't think it's
top 8. I'd say it's pretty consistent.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good, man. I don't know.
Also, it depends on the player too. So I'm saying it's not S tier. Neither is Guard.
That is the one that I know that we want to have a little discussion on. I still love Gardevoir, but it is getting a little harder to defend it. It is not getting the results. I think that maybe whenever we get the Paldea evolved, we might get a little bit of resurgence of Gardevoir, because it is getting a couple new tools. But I don't know. Like, I really want to keep it in S tier, but I would probably honestly drop it under Arctina right now. Like, Arctina is getting results. It has a good matchup into Guardy, kind of. It's about a 50-50, but like, yeah. So I don't know.
I would leave it in S tier for now, but if it misses top 8 again this weekend, it has to be relegated.
I think that's fair. And it keeps my Gardevoir in S tier, so I'm okay with that. So, but yeah, no, I don't know. I can definitely see the argument of it being a tier 1 over Arctina or under Arctina. Honestly, I think that these two are kind of interchangeable right now, but I don't think that Gardevoir's S tier spot to me is really freaking slipping. So I think that's about fair. So yeah, but Bobby, do you have anything else egregious like in some of these middle tiers that you would like to tweak and mess around?
I feel like a lot of them Lost Box should be actually in tier 1.
Okay. So
that's biased.
I think that
I mean, I could say the same thing about with Lugia.
Well, no, I mean, I think that.
But no, because obviously, I can look at the top 8 with Lost Box. We can make the same consumption as we can with Lugia.
Okay, so like, I think that Lost Zone Kyogre is deserving of a bump. I think that Lost Zone it's doing well. A lot of the successful lists that we're seeing are like more of the turbo, but we saw Grant make a top 8. We're seeing multiple other people with the kind of Kyogre, Moltres, weird kind of package. Alex Szymanski doing kind of the same thing. So I would say that I would give, Lost Zone Kyogre a little bit of a bump for sure. I don't think I can quite do it to Zard, and if anything, I think that Zard, we can. Yeah, no. I think we might actually have to drop like Sky Seal Lost Zone, just because it is
with the Sky Seal Stone.
Yeah. Just because it's just not performing like at all. Like maybe it's just nobody's playing it because they like the turbo version more or something like that. I mean, I still really like it, but I can't deny that the turbo version just can just do things. So honestly, I don't know. Like, maybe do we think that we just put Sky Seal Lost Zone in Y right now?
I mean, there are better options.
So keep in mind, this
I
is
just don't
Sky
feel
Seal Lost
Sky
Zone.
Stone doesn't have. I don't feel like Sky Stone has a lot of options right now because it's probably only good against like a couple of decks, handful of decks, not a crazy amount of decks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So.
it kind of like lost that big problem. The problem it had where because like it had a big target for Mew, and then Mew started getting smarter and stuff like that and running like the full path builds instead of the weird stuff that it was running before, and then Miraidon Regieleki kind of fell off, which I think that is kind of our next thing that we want to talk about. We'll do that, but I think that Sky Seal Lost Zone, like pure Sky Seal Lost Zone, has kind of really fallen off, and I do think as much as I like it, it does kind of fall under the Y. But something I think is getting a little bit of promotion is the Miraidon Flaffy. We have seen it get multiple top 8s at this point. It has proved itself a little bit. I think if we're putting Turbo Miraidon up here, I think that it's the Miraidon Flaffy is kind of deserving as well, because it's doing well. It's doing very well locally. It's still getting a couple good top 8s in these bigger tournaments and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that these two, honestly, we could probably just combine the two into like just Miraidon, like Turbo Miraidon, with Flaffy and stuff like that. But I think that's fair to put it up here in 1.5. What do you guys think?
That's fine.
That's fair.
For sure. So, all right. Well, I think this is about pretty close. We do have some weird stuff down here. Like we have like Kyurem VMAX. I'm putting it over Dialga because I just like Kyurem more. I don't know. We have a couple weird stuff. Like, okay, Arcanine EX. I guess that's something we can tier. I think that it probably falls under Rogue.
Why?
I don't know. It's kind of fun. It's a pretty fun deck. It hits decent numbers. Like I don't know.
Fun doesn't make it Rogue.
I feel like we almost need a new tier for Unproven, but has potential.
Fine, I'll put it in Y, but I'm putting it at the top of Y. I think it actually has potential.
Over your Shadow Rider?
Yeah, I do think it has more potential over Shadow Rider just because it's not like a 3-prize liability, and it has like Radiant Charizard and stuff like that. So I don't know why they have this Charizard on there. Nobody's playing that Charizard with it, but whatever. And then I guess last here we can put Spidops Leafy on. Why? I kind of want to put it in the dumpster, but like, I don't know. I'm taking Arceus Lost Zone off the list, so Darkrai gets to sit in the dumpster by himself like he deserves. So, yeah, so I think that's a pretty decent little look at our tier list and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that is about right. So we're going to hop over here. We're going to look at the events that are coming up in the area for those of you that are staying here and not going to Hartford with us. So we have a league challenge on the 20th at Gamers Alley. Be sure to go stop in there, say hi to them. We got High Point, which has a League Cup. Dead Elf Collectibles has a League Cup on the 20th. And then, which store is this? This is Spandex. My God, you guys, I need to get with these freaking stores and be like, yo, why are y'all all doing League Cups on the 20th? For one, there's a freaking regional, and two, you have 4 stores doing a League Cup on the same day. Although High Point is a little bit
that 12-hour drive.
Yeah,
Nobody's gonna make that.
I
Really,
know,
a lot of people won't. So
I know, but like, we still shouldn't have 1, 2, 3 League Cups in the Charlotte area relatively all at the same time as well. Like, if you go to 11 a.m., you're not making it over to this one at 3:30. Like,
No,
if
unless
they were,
you do
if they were,
horrible.
well, yeah, if they were like split up more, like if this started at like I don't know, like 6 o'clock or something like that instead, that would be fine. But it starts at 3:30, so but yeah, you have this I believe is Scott's. Yes, this is Scott's Collectibles on the 21st, and then High Point has a challenge. So I would assume that most people are also going to be going to the Cup in High Point. So that also is going to be a big impact on this on these challenges on the 20th. So yeah, but if you don't feel like driving is up to High Point, I guess check out some of these challenges. But I would definitely say that this Cup is going to be like the big ticket for most players in our area this weekend. So
If
also,
I wasn't going to Hartford, I would have went to the Cup.
Yeah, for sure. So if you are a player that is going to the Cup in High Point this weekend, please try to get the top 8 and the decks and all that stuff for me. I don't have context with this store yet. I will try when I get back because I like to make the little slides. And speaking of slide, we didn't actually talk about this. I kind of skipped over it. I'm sorry. But yeah, so we did have a cup at Cape Fear Games last weekend down in Wilmington. They only had enough for a top 4, but we did see Arcdura Umbreon taking the first place there with 2 Mews in the top 8, and then Gardevoir. So that's pretty cool. Very cool to see a little diversity there, I suppose, with 3 different decks, and Arcdura Umbreon proving itself and taking it all down. So that's pretty nice. So congratulations to those players out there. So but yeah, so a couple league challenges this weekend. Definitely a big League Cup for those of you that are staying in the area. But yeah, so anyway, I think that is going to be about it for us today, guys. Dallas, Bobby, do you have any final thoughts as we're getting hyped up and ready for Hartford?
Not really. Just doing some last minute soul searching, trying to make a decision on exactly what deck's going to be best to play or what modifications to make to the deck, but I think we're getting there.
That's nice. All right, so still feeling the Lugia, I'm sure.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, still feeling the Lugia.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, he's playing the Pokemon live while we're on the podcast and everything. Okay, I hear you. See you.
Only for the end of the podcast. Only for the end.
All right, fair enough. Bobby, what are you feeling?
Victory.
What are you feeling?
I am feeling, I don't know, like, I gotta figure out what Loftbox version I want to play. I mean, luckily, I got a 12-hour drive to figure that out. So, I might be building my deck in a car.
Oh, and there's also an important side note for Hartford. There will be a cup on Sunday for those of you who are not going to be making day 2.
Very true. So, definitely bring a couple decks. If your first deck doesn't pan out super well, maybe switch it up for the cup. I don't know all the details. I'm most likely going to be working the cup on day 2. But they could definitely change things up. I could work sides, or I don't think I would end up being a day 2 judge. I'm just not quite at that level yet, but you never know. They could, be happy with my work or something. I don't know. But I would be perfectly fine judging the cup or even just sides, because I actually really enjoyed that down at Charlotte. So anyway, That is going to be it for us today. Thank y'all so much for stopping by and watching. And we will see you up in Hartford this weekend. Be sure to stop by, say hi to us. Dallas and Bobby going to be repping them playmats. Unfortunately, I can't rep any swag because I am, of course, a judge. But that is okay. That's going to be it. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. We love you all. Deuces.
See ya.
Later.